welcome everybody. This is the Vassals of Kingsgrave podcast. Following the phenomenal success, of our World Cup, our 3-part World Cup podcast, we have decided now to do a monthly English Premier League roundup. So I am Bing, Shoeshine on the forums, and I'm joined by Leigh.
I'm Leigh, chaotic neutral on the forums.
And also Noah.
Pops A on the forums. Hey.
Hey, all right. So guys, first, so we had originally planned for this to go somewhere around August 9th, which was crazily the actual transfer window, the day the transfer window closes for England.
And for England only, yeah.
Setting a trend.
Yeah, earlier than anybody else in Europe.
Yeah, it's funny that pretty much the rest of the window has been quiet since England shut, because I suppose it's all English money that they're spending.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe we can start here. So how do you feel about this early transfer window closing? Do you like this idea?
Yes. Arsene Wenger long wanted this, and now he's got it, and it's wonderful.
I think all the reasons why it's wrong is what Noah just said, pretty much.
No, but it makes a lot of sense, because you want to get your business done before the football starts, because otherwise it's a distraction, and it doesn't help your the first few games of the season. Players can still leave and players can come in. I think it's better to get your business done in the summer, and just when the football starts, you can just focus on the football.
I do completely agree with that. The only problem is that I would love it to be every league, although every league doesn't start at the same time as well, which is I wouldn't say an issue, but that's because the Premier League still don't have a winter period off. So if the Premier League, which would never happen, if the Premier League had a winter period off and then they'd start a little bit later, then I'd see every league pretty much having the transfer window close at the same time. That's not possible, but I do like the idea of just getting it done before the season starts. But just the fact that still other leagues are open and still can take the players, it's always going to be a little bit of a disadvantage for English clubs, unless they just do a 6-month loan and then with the option to buy in January. Then that's the only other thing I can see.
Yeah, because as a person who supports a team that's currently outside the Premier League, this window closing doesn't seem to have done much other than change what would have been permanent transfers into loans, and then everything's just loan for the 6 months and then buy once the window opens again. I so far haven't experienced that much difference. All right, so what we think we're going to do is maybe go through every team in the Premier League and see what the major transfers are. So should we just go alphabetically?
Yes.
Because alphabetically, the first team is Arsenal. Is that why you said yes?
Perhaps.
Right. So Arsenal, their major signings, I'll just read them out from the Sky Sports page I have open. So transfers in. Bernd Leno from Bayer Leverkusen.
Second choice goalkeeper
currently. Stefan Leck from Juventus on a free. Socrates Papastafopoulos.
Ooh, close.
Yeah.
Papastathopoulos. There you go.
Socrates from Dortmund, Lucas Torreira from Sampdoria, and Matteo Guendouzi, who I think is the only guy who has started every single game out of all 5 of them.
He's the only one who started a game, let alone... actually, no, tell a lie, Socrates has started every game.
Right. Oh, yeah, Socrates as well, right. But yes, Guendouzi, 8 million from Lorient in the French 2nd division. And the guys who have left Arsenal include Santi Cazorla from Mertesacker, who retired, Jack Wilshere, we'll talk more about him later, Lucas Perez, and a few other lone guys out.
Yeah, a bit of dead weight, but yeah.
Noah, do you feel good after these transfers? Do you feel like the team has gotten better?
I feel like we've addressed certain issues in the midfield, given Hector Bellerin a little bit of competition at right back. Obviously, Bernd Leno, I think I like him. I mean, I haven't seen very much of him. But
the only problem with Leno is that Emery looks like he wants to play like a play at the back kind of style with a keeper that has a bit of decent footwork, where Leno is not that much better than Czech. Just to let you know. So,
as somebody who also supports Bayer Leverkusen in Europe, can I give my Leno take?
Please do.
So Bernd Leno we started for Leverkusen when he was 19 years old. I think he has since played 7 seasons at Leverkusen. I think he was a better keeper when he was 21 than he is now. He might be a better keeper when he was 19 than he is now. Because if you look at back then when he first started playing for us, because our original starter Rene Adler got injured, and then he just came in this kid nobody has heard of from Stuttgart's B team. And then suddenly he just started games. It's like, oh my God, this guy's the most amazing goalkeeper ever. He's only 19, he's already this good. What's he going to be like in 8 years? Well, it's not been 8 years. He has probably gotten worse. So that part's really disappointing. If you look at his stats the last 3 seasons, 2 years ago, he was awful. A year ago, he was up and down. Last season, he was again awful. So I don't know if that's very encouraging for you.
To me.
Yeah.
Then again, he's only 26. Maybe he goes to Arsenal, better coaches, different ideas. He becomes where he should have been.
Well, I mean, that's wishful thinking. We've not had the best record with goalkeepers since Jens Lehmann. Yeah. Which is bordering on 10 years.
And he probably didn't exactly calm your nerves either, did he?
Occasionally.
There's a 50-50 challenge. He is putting those studs up, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it was a coin toss if he was going to... But anyway, and then it's been a decline since then with your Szczesnys, your Fabianskis, your Almunias, of course. Sorry, how could I forget the king? But yeah, it's a signing in the right direction. It's something that needs to be addressed. He's young. Cech's still got maybe another season, so maybe it's just he has come in to play number 2, and Cech is going to retire eventually. So maybe it's a good thing that he doesn't get thrust back into it. And yeah, he's played a shitload of games in Germany.
Yep.
But as you say, maybe I'm looking at it now. It's like 233 games is.
And he's 26.
Crazy.
26.
It's nuts.
And fairness keepers as well, they generally peak around just after 30 as well. So in comparison to that, players was around about 26, 27 mark.
I mean, one of those goalkeepers I mentioned, Szczesny, is kind of similar, probably a similar age as well. Played a lot of games for us for many years and then left. And I mean, now I'll be honest, I haven't been following him at Juventus. But
he's a starter.
He definitely starts.
Some games.
The man to replace Buffon, perhaps. Perhaps.
I think the best keeper that you had that you let go was Fabianski.
He's done a lot better he's a great shot stopper, but he's done a lot better in a team with a more organised defence. I think a lot of goalkeepers have looked bad at Arsenal because of the lack of emphasis on defending. And I mean, that brings me to my next point about Arsenal's transfer business, which is I mean, we've done some good things. I like Leno. I like Lichtsteiner. The midfield seems solid, but defence is still a shambles. I mean, we've got when you're being forced to start Mustafi, it really just sums up your situation.
Hey, World Cup winner.
Yeah. So Giroud.
Yeah, so Giroud.
But I mean, say what you want about Mertesacker, but he was a big presence in that defence in terms of organising and leadership, and just being a 6'6" tank who I absolutely adore. But we didn't really address that. We loaned out Callum Chambers, which I thought was bizarre, and we brought in Socrates for what was it, like 25 million? It was too much money, I thought. But I mean, that's the price you pay, I guess.
30 years old. Again, another signing from Dortmund by Sven Mislintat.
Yeah, it was done. I think it was done without the manager's approval. But
so you think that was a boardroom kind of signing, just like how Woodward and United seem to be right now?
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps there wasn't that communication, or maybe this Sven fella thought that he's above the manager, or it's his job to just decide who. I mean, it's preposterous if you can't see that the manager needs to have a say in the signings, because the team's going to play the way he wants them to.
By the way, we missed out the biggest transfer of all in Arsenal, of course. When you say manager, we're no longer talking about Arsene Wenger. We're talking about Unai Emery.
Of course.
So, what do you think of Unai Emery after the first 3 games?
I like what I see. I like that he's trying to learn English and he's not using a translator. I think that's very bold and brave. And his team selections and substitutions have been bold and brave. He wants to, you can see a bit more of the pressing game, but to be honest, I'm still yet to be convinced, which is completely understandable after 3 games. I'm not waving any banners for Emery out, but I do need to be convinced, I think.
I think it's the classic case with even a lot of Chelsea managers where the first year they always get a pass that they're in, and the second year is the one that they're expected to try and win something. And I feel like that's going to be the same with Sarri for Chelsea and Emery for Arsenal, to really try and implement their style on the team. And until you get the actual team that he wants, that's going to be a different story, because this is still largely and mostly an Arsene Wenger team, and it's not an Emery team. So I think that changes. Like, I guarantee come January there's going to be a wholesale change, more of a mass exodus. He's already started the clean out process. That's what Pochettino did at Tottenham when he got there, just getting rid of the players that he doesn't consider even squad players, and just get rid of the ones with a bad attitude that don't want to buy into his philosophy, and from there just see what happens. So I still think that, as you said, 3 games way too early. That's for every manager in the Premier League. With the exception of De Boer last year, but yeah.
Good old Frank De Boer.
I agree. A mate of mine did say to me the other day that after the West Ham game that it does feel he can't quite tell the difference between if he's watching an Emery team or a Wenger team at the moment, but I think that will change with time.
Right. He's a guy with a lot of European success. I mean, all UEFA Cup. But he's won every single one.
Yeah. I mean, we're a UEFA Cup team at the minute. So.
Maybe you have that to look forward to.
I'm not going to say no to that. If he can get him up and we can get a European trophy.
That's not too bad for his first season.
Why not?
Would you prioritise a Europe over top 4? Obviously, if you win Europe, then you get Champions League spot. But
I think we have to. It has to be top 4 is the objective, and if we can do well in the FA Cup or the Europa League, fantastic. I mean, the Europa League, we can rotate the team a bit because we'll be playing some little village of shopkeepers from Belarus for the first few games, but. Or
you can run into Bayer Leverkusen, who's also in this competition.
Oh, no, I mean, in the latter stages for sure, but in the group stages, there's just such a high volume of tiny little teams from some former Soviet state, and it's like, wow, I did not know that, exactly Azerbaijan have a team in it.
Champions League last year.
Were they? Jesus. I mean, for obvious reasons, I was not paying attention to the Champions League group stages. But yeah, so I think in terms of signings, we've spoke about a few. Torreira, very exciting. Obviously, we spoke about him during the World Cup on those podcasts. Looks good. Hasn't been starting though, which is a bit weird. I never get that when managers do that. They spend all this money on a shiny new player and sit him on the bench for like the first month.
Gotta get Granit Xhaka in.
Oh God!
He's probably got a stipulation in his contract. Xhaka has to play X amount of games, or he gets like a bonus or something like that. But with Torreira, I imagine it's a bit more just maybe he's just not quite come back from the World Cup fully fit, because I think he still went at the quarterfinals. So
yeah, I'm hoping so.
That's it. But for all we know, like just Guendouzi and Xhaka might just be really, really good in training at the moment. Just just not translating onto the pitch, and Torreira is just not quite caught up to the speed that Emery wants to play. Sure, many factors, but I can understand the frustration. That's for sure.
Sure, but yeah, you mentioned him, the man with the hair, Guendouzi.
Yeah, doesn't look bad. Yeah, I mean, he made a mistake against Man City that threw a goal, right? Versus Chelsea.
There's a couple of lax moments and a couple of errant passes, but for the most part, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be pleased.
Yeah, I am. Bargain as well.
You'd have him over Xhaka every day already. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
19 years old.
I mean, the hardest thing with this Arsenal team, and God knows how the manager does it, is to laying them out, because you want to start Özil, Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, Ramsey, and Lacazette, and then it's like, how the hell do I fit those players into a team that doesn't lose 6-5 every week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as of today, there's rumours that Lacazette might be leaving.
I don't know about that.
They're all just rumours anyway. And do you really, as good as Ozil can be, do you really think he is a good fit for the type of player he is for the Premier League at the moment? Unless City buy him, which a good luxury player on top of the good players that they got there already. Do you think that he can perform again in the Premier League?
I don't know. He missed the last. He missed the last game because of illness, and he's been ill a lot. I think I read he's been ill, like missing from games 7 times this year, which is a lot.
There's something not right with, I think, him and his personal life at the moment.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
I think
definitely.
There's plenty of other stuff.
I'm willing to give him a pass now because he everything you've mentioned, and he's just such a quality player. When he performs, he can create things and do things that other players can't, and players like him don't come along very often. So I'm willing to give him a chance, another chance for sure, and but we'll see.
As a long-time Mesut Ozil stan, I think this has been a really rough summer for him after the World Cup, and then the basically he can go into war against the German FA president.
Yeah.
I mean, the retirement. That was a declaration of war. So I think there's been a lot of media attention on him. Maybe he just he needs some time to keep to himself, and maybe give him a rest for a few games, and maybe see if you can reintegrate him. Because in terms of playmaking, that's still there. It's still there. But yeah, are we good with moving on from Arsenal?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's a lot of talking points about Arsenal. Huge changes.
Sure.
Yeah, lots happened. We started with the biggest one, I think.
Yeah, but then we move on to another huge team, Bournemouth.
Mighty Bournemouth.
Well, they're undefeated at the moment. So...
7 points, 2 wins and a draw.
Cheeky.
They've only made 3 signings, but I think all 3 of them are pretty good. David Brooks from Sheffield United, who actually looks pretty good right now. Diego Rico, their left back, and the guy who they actually haven't played yet. Well, I think they just played him yesterday in the Cup. Jefferson Lerma for $25 million. Imagine that.
I don't think they've played Rico yet either, because I think doesn't he have a suspension? I'm not 100% sure. I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, I think they haven't played Rico either. Yeah, but I think they played Rico yesterday, didn't they? Or not? I might be wrong.
Because there was someone, I think it was a right back that had like a 3-game ban or a 2-game ban hanging over his head because he had Charlie Daniels play, and in fantasy he was highly picked, but only because of that. But yeah.
Yeah, he's not started, but yeah.
But yeah, so they left. They have a bunch of other stuff left their team, and we don't need to talk about those. But yeah, Bournemouth pretty good. Anything to say about Bournemouth? Think they can keep this up?
I think they're looking good so far. A come from behind win against West Ham as well at that soulless stadium. But in fairness to Bournemouth, last year I think they had the most come from behind points out of any team last year as well. I think it was in the 20s. So if you're a goal up against them, don't feel too confident. But for the most of the football, they tore Cardiff off the park, and they really did look good, albeit a quite defensive and poor Cardiff. But I think it's definite mid-table for them. If they can continue to play the way they're playing in Eddie Howe's days at the helm, then I can't see anything but good things. King and Wilson, not so much King, but definitely Wilson up front looks absolutely dangerous. And
yeah, he's on fire this season.
Francis as well is just. I think they've got a great attacking press going on. So I think that's going to be one of those teams, especially for the big six clubs, that have to be wary, especially going at Bournemouth as well. So a danger team for sure.
All right, can't wait. Yes, Joshua King, former Blackburn legend. We'll get to Blackburn.
We'll have a Blackburn one, don't worry.
Yes, give me 5 minutes. Anyways, Brighton and Hove Albion famously won against Manchester United. They've signed a lot of players, actually. A bunch of them are of questionable quality. Maybe they signed Alireza Jahanbakhsh from AZ Alkmaar, who was the Dutch Eredivisie top scorer that season. They signed Leon Balogun, who famously dissed Manchester United after their win. Bunch of these other people.
I like him already.
Bernardo, right back from RB Leipzig. I don't know who else. Jason Steele, that's a former Blackburn player. Anyways, Brighton. What do you guys think of Brighton? Do you think they can? Some people tip them for relegation. I don't think so. I think they did pretty well. They always make smart signings. They made a bunch of smart signings last season that paid off. I think some of these signings have looked pretty good so far too. So I think it's going to be mid-table for them too.
They'll be in the relegation scrap for sure. But do you know what? I wrote them off last season, and here they are. So why not? Why not?
I've got them just one place above the relegation zone, but they haven't looked so far better than what we would have imagined. But I think that performance against Man United and that Brazilian-like finish from Glenn Murray shows that there's still plenty of quality in there. And obviously Matty Ryan, a bit biased towards that too, but he was fantastic. But from what I've seen so far, and for the fact that they haven't played Pascal Gross as well, who's probably their best player last year, haven't played him as much as what you'd think that he should. I think it's promising signs. I agree with Noah completely that they're still going to be in the relegation scrap. There's no doubt about that. I think that it's not looking as bad, and I'm a big fan of Chris Hughton as well. But yeah.
No. All right. So next we have Burnley, last season surprise package, my crosstown rival or something. They have signed Ben Gibson, 2 seasons ago, tipped to be an future England player. Matai Vidra, who was the top scorer in the championship last season, I believe, or up there. But always has never really done much in the Premier League. And of course, our old friend Joe Hart. Joe Hart is on Burnley. Burnley now has three goalies who has England caps.
Yeah, they've got a nice collection, haven't they?
Yeah. They have so far. How many points do they have? They have 1 point.
They have one draw.
They have 1 point.
I think what everyone's going to point to, and rightfully so as well, is Europe. They've already started the season before everyone. You could say that perhaps they could be a bit more match fit, but I think that for as long as they're in Europe, and I haven't seen if they've played their return leg against Olympiacos, but for as long as they're in Europe, I think they're going to struggle a little, and plus they've got quite a few injuries to start as well. I mean, that's why they got Hart in, because Pope and Heaton are both injured at the moment, so I think they'll be fine come season's end, but for as long as they're in Europe, I think they're just going to struggle a little. And I hope they stay in Europe, not to struggle, but just because I would love to see them do another Fulham and get to the final. So
over Arsenal, of course.
Oh, please.
I think they might struggle. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get relegated, but I really think they stretched their squad depth already to the maximum last season. They had very little injuries. I think this might be problematic, and plus Joe Hart as a number 3 goalie in the future is going to be very funny to me.
I do feel for the guy as well. From the highest that he's gone to, it's still a decent character. But I had Burnley finishing around about like 14th, so yeah. So I did not as high expectations, but I think that'll be fine.
I think them dropping out of the Europa League would be the best thing for them, to be honest. But it depends, something new, so who knows. But yeah, it's a 3-1 deficit that they have to come back from. At home, though, you never know.
On paper, the signing of Vidra looks good, with how many goals he scored in the Championship last year, but when he played for West Brom in the Premier League, he was not convincing at all. He honestly didn't look like a Premiership quality player. Maybe that's changed, but I doubt it. So I think a lot's going to be relied on Chris Wood and Barnes up front. And
oh man, Chris Wood and Barnes.
if Barnes had the season he had last year, then I think they'll do a lot better. But I actually think it's just going to be a lot on Wood's shoulders. Decent striker as well. But
New Zealand's great hope.
Yeah, he's him and the injury-prone Winston Reid.
Oh yeah,
So that's pretty much all I can say of Burnley.
Yeah, I hope they get relegated. Anyways, next we have Cardiff City. I'm just going to read out all these transfers and see how excited both of you are about them. Bobby Reed from Bristol City, Greg Cunningham from Preston North End, Josh Murphy from Norwich, Alex Smithies from QPR, Victor Camarasa on loan from Betis, and Harry Arter on loan from Bournemouth.
So Harry Arter is the only one I can talk about. The rest I could not tell. I could not point them out. But Harry Arter, I think that's a quality signing for them, and you know, he could turn out to save their bacon. But I mean, you know,
is there a universe in which this team doesn't get relegated?
Yeah, I know. I love the Welsh. I love Cardiff, beautiful town, but it's not a Premier League town. Stick to rugby, boys.
Wow. I fear for. I don't think they're going to have the record low amount of points that a lot of people are imagining, but I think they're going to finish stone last. And they haven't bought in as if they're trying to stay in the Premier League either.
Yeah, they haven't bought enough.
I think it's a bit unfair to compare Cardiff to the spending of both Wolves and Fulham, because I just don't think they have the funds available. But on paper as well, the Harry Arter signing looks pretty good, but in the first 3 games he really hasn't been that great, to be honest. He was culpable for a couple of goals, and so I don't hold much hope.
I look forward to seeing them in the Championship next season. Okay.
I'll tell you what, keeper Etheridge looks pretty good as well. Saved a couple of penalties.
Philippines. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now here we hit another big team, another big topic team. Chelsea. A lot has happened at Chelsea. First of all, managerial change. Conte to Maurizio Sarri, very late change in manager. Transfers, they have signed, of course, England great Rob Green.
Oui.
But of course, more importantly, Ariza Bagala, Kepa, just Kepa, from Bilbao for 71 million. His release clause. Jorginho, who has looked fantastic, by the way, since coming over from Napoli, and Mateo Kovacic, who has also looked very good on loan for Real Madrid. But people that has left Chelsea include, of course, Thibaut Courtois to Real Madrid. So, all right, Chelsea. Coming into the season, I thought they were doomed. I thought they made the switch from Conte to Sarri way too late. I thought they didn't have enough time to get in the players that Sarri needs, because the whole team was sort of built. Especially the defense was built for Conte, who plays a completely different style from Sarri. But so far, Sarri has been doing very well. Was it 3 wins?
In fairness, you look at the teams that have played, the Newcastle, Hud, and out of sorts Arsenal so far. So there's not a lot to go by so far. So I think the Kepa signing is interesting, considering the amount of money they paid for him. I think that was just his buyout clause, and they just did it that way. But I think Courtois is going to be a big loss. I do like the signings with Kovacic and Jorginho as well. I think they're 2 pretty good signings, especially Kovacic, who I think is going under the radar considerably at the moment, especially considering he's just a loan signing, which I think is going to be one of those ones that turn permanent.
Right. He's a very good player. I followed him a bit at Inter Milan before he went to Madrid, and he was doing well for them there. He looks good. He's quite a physical player but also has a bit of skill and flair. I like him.
Holds up the ball well. He's ready made for the Premier League as well.
Yeah, he really is. Surprised this hasn't happened sooner, to be honest. Someone snapping him up.
Yeah, for sure. And he wasn't getting all that much game time at Madrid either, so that helped make it a lot easier to buy as well. So,
I mean, understandably,
I think it's a good signing.
Yep. Yeah, I don't rate. From what I've seen of Jorginho, I haven't been impressed. But early days, bedding in could turn out to be a fantastic signing.
Well, I mean,
I think there's one thing that you're going to look at, which a lot of people would look at, was Jorginho, especially against the Newcastle game, is the passes completed and percentage and all that thing. I think that's one of the times where stats are actually quite misleading, because the majority of those balls were actually kind of sideways, and then you'll notice with a lot of defensive midfielders that their passing percentage is actually quite high in comparison to someone like a Hazard will have a much lower pass percentage, because they're the ones trying the risky pass, the game-breaking pass.
Well, the interesting thing is because they signed Jorginho, they have to push Kante up the field. So Kante is sort of like a box-to-box midfielder, bizarrely.
As good as Jorginho might be, I think you're losing out on too much in that position. Cause he's the best in the world in that position. There's daylight in between him and second as well. So, and I'd say Casemiro would be second, but I think that's a big, big mistake in the long run. Obviously, Sarri knows it better than us and knows Jorginho actually quite well. So, and there are different types of players as well, where Jorginho is a bit more distribution based. But Kante, looking forward, he looks like how his personality is up forward as well. He's just quite conservative and not really trying too many intricate passes or anything like that. So I think there's going to be a bit of time for him to get ready. And the thing I'd hate to see is him drop, because he's not quite performing the way that you'd want from that position on the right hand side of that front, the middle three. So, but if that happens, I'd happily take him up. I don't think it's too good a player, but
you're assuming that Tottenham now still signs people. We'll get to Tottenham. We'll get
to Tottenham. We definitely will.
It'll be a short segment. Don't worry about
that. But Chelsea have probably one of the best midfields you could want of Kante. Like if you have a little triangle of Kante, Kovacic, and Fabregas. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Has Fabregas even 10 minutes yet?
Yeah, I don't think Fabregas played yet.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're idiots. They've got one of the best centre midfielders in the world, and he just rots on their bench.
Well, so what do you think the ceiling is with this team? Because I had them rated really low in my first prediction. That's obviously wrong. Now I should have put Manchester United there. That was my mistake. Anyways, what do you think Chelsea's ceiling is? Do you think this is a top 4 team?
Could be.
For sure.
I mean, but at the expense of who? I mean, Arsenal are getting that 4th place, so
Manchester United,
they're gonna have to come 5th.
I don't think we've revealed our top 6 yet either as well. Where we did in the Skype chat just before the Premier League season started, we did our promotion and our relegation and top 6 finished. And my top 6 is City. Not in a canter as what you would have thought. Liverpool close behind, which is everyone's close challenges. Chelsea I had finishing 3rd, and my boys Tottenham finishing 4th, just because of stability's sake. I did have Man U finishing 5th ahead of Arsenal in 6th, but as what most people would probably be doing, if they had to that, they'd be reassessing that order. But I'm pretty confident with that top 6 in that order as well. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're higher, but even though a lot of those changes made to Chelsea were late, I still think they've got just a high quality core that just needs the right manager as well. And I think Sarri could be that manager. I think they're going to ship a lot more goals than what you'd be used to. But I mean, with Moses out, I think Moses is not going to play again for Chelsea. No. Is Sarri wanting a back 4, and Azpilicueta is probably one of the best right backs in the world. That was playing for last season. So I think there's surprisingly going to be a better looking defence, but I still think it's a bit unbalanced because Alonso gets so high up the pitch. Like he's pretty much like Mendy, just almost in the box. So I think they'll effectively be playing with a back 3 anyway. But
Morata looks good though.
It's an interesting game. I'm still suspect on Morata.
I'll give it. I've got time for him. I reckon he'll come good.
He's got the finishing qualities of Lukaku, so we'll just put it that way.
Looking at the outgoing side of the Chelsea, I count 28 loans.
Yeah, it's a lot. But that's just how they do it.
Yep. Anyways, should we move on from Chelsea?
Yep.
Yeah, Palace.
So Crystal Palace, they're kind of interesting because they haven't made that many transfers, but they're all pretty interesting ones. Okay, Vicente Grootwaite, the goalie, whatever. Sheikh Kouyaté, who has been at West Ham for quite a while. Max Meyer, this guy, highly rated a few seasons ago. A bunch of really top teams wanted him. Now he's at Crystal Palace. And Jordan Ayew on loan from Swansea. They lost Johan. Yeah, sorry. They lost Johan Cabaye and a few other people. Yeah.
I was just going to say, with Meyer, the only game that I've seen him play. So I watched the Chelsea Palace Fulham game, and he didn't play in that one. But the recent one against Watford, when he came on, he actually changed the shape a lot. Zaha went onto the left, and I think they looked a much more potent attacking team with Meyer on the pitch. It looked already seamlessly linked well with Zaha. So I think by quality, it's a good signing, and I think already the implementation of the team. Hodgson's a funny old duck. He seems to just he's got a knack of getting these bottom half Premier League teams into some sort of stability and a decent attacking prowess. You look at the options that they've got; it's nothing to sniff at too, especially with your lead man Zaha. But Palace, I think I've got them in the top half. I'm not 100% sure, but I like the way they look.
Yeah.
You have them at 12th.
Oh, okay.
And Bing has them at 11th.
Hey. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good team. I think Roy Hodgson, if you're a team that's aiming to finish somewhere in between 8 and 16, he's your guy. He can get you there, no problem.
Yeah.
Any higher or lower, then don't bother. But he is, he has this Max Meyer. I have no idea how he pulled that off. On a free. Anybody could have signed him. And he went to Crystal Palace.
Anybody Tottenham, anyone could have signed him.
Arsenal too.
We got Guendouzi. We don't need him. It's fine.
True.
Like I said, honestly, I'd take Emil Heskey at this stage. So just to say that we signed someone. I don't care how many.
Wow. So Palace mid-table looks pretty good.
I want to see Jason Puncheon have a good season. I enjoy him. He's a good dirty old man for footballer.
How old is Jason Puncheon now? 32, 33?
Oh, he's got to be. Let me have a look.
Jeez. Haven't been thinking about Jason.
32.
Oh, wow.
Jason Puncheon, legend.
All right. So next we have Everton, who signed a bunch of people
again.
Very last minute. This time they signed Yerry Mina from Barcelona, World Cup hero for Colombia. Andres Gomez, also from Barcelona on loan. Richarlison for 40 million from Watford, and he has had a very interesting start to the season. Lucas Digne, also from Barcelona. So they're just on a Barcelona splurge. Bernard, if you remember him, the little tiny guy from 2014 World Cup.
Yeah. Shakhtar Donetsk.
For free. And finally, Kurt Zuma, who has been on loan from Chelsea since forever. And they lost, of course, most importantly, Wayne Rooney to the MLS, where he has been tearing it up. No, MLS. He is now a superstar in the US now.
He's gone on. It's landed on his feet running. That's for sure.
Yeah. And a bunch of other loans. Hey, Ashley Williams also left his team. He's no longer any good. But yeah, Everton. Richarlison. This guy's runs like hot and cold, so hard. He goes so hot and then goes so cold.
Yeah.
Everyone's already told the stats of last season. In the first 26 games, he's scored a ton of goals, and then I think in the second half of the season he had 49 shots or something like that, and barely any on target, no goals. And it's just great start of the season, and he's had a great start to this season as well, but getting a needless red card as well. I think a lot of people have got him in their fantasy teams, and
not me.
I had him, and then I had to take a -2. So effectively,
for all those goals, it's worth it.
Maybe this guy just cannot play with anybody but Marco Silva. Like he should just follow Marco Silva everywhere. Like literally tell him.
I was going to say Marco Silva clearly has always wanted to be a Barcelona player or manage Barcelona or buy someone from Barcelona, and now that he's got a bit of money, he's just gone out and done all of the above. He's going to sign Thomas Vermaelen in the January transfer window.
Who else is on Barcelona's bench that they don't want anymore?
I think Jeremy is a little bit overrated for me. He did have a few good moments in that England game, but he did look actually quite shaky. In fairness, that's like one of the only times that I've seen a full 90 minutes of him play. But sure, he got 3 goals in the World Cup, but he just reminds me of Mamadou Sakho. Just looks a lot like Bambi. Legs everywhere. He's all limbs. So I think once he's fit, because I don't think he's fit at the moment, but once he's fit, he could just completely prove me wrong. But now they've just almost completely changed their centre halves. So from Williams and Jagielka and they've had 2 red cards this season as well, Everton. So Jagielka and Richarlison. So, if they can stop playing with 10 men, then for majority of the game, because both of them were first half red cards too, both costing points.
Still unbeaten though. Still unbeaten.
Yeah, unbeaten. Yep, 5 points.
Both of the games they got red cards were draws, and both of them I think were 2-2. So
yep.
So they got effective new signing in Walcott.
Oh yeah, Theo Walcott tearing it up.
Oh,
he looks different. He's got a bit of attacking freedom.
Well, maybe. I mean, he is a good player, and he will score you goals, but he will do nothing else. So if you've got the luxury for a player like that, but we had about 4 or 5 of them, and he was the worst of those 4 or 5. So, but fair play, I love me some Theo, and I hope he bangs in a load of goals, except against Arsenal, and. Yeah, I mean, they were easy to write off last season because they bought so many new players and the whole Big Sam thing.
They didn't address any of their holes as well for last season, because I think Kerman was in charge for the first handful of games. So if it wasn't for De Boer, he would have been the first manager sacked, because they looked pretty awful. And I think they just bought attacking midfielders, and I think it was in January they bought Cenk Tosun. I could be wrong on that one, but it was pretty much just attacking midfielders they bought, and Sigurdsson being the headline name there. But it did fix the holes. But this time, it appears that they've fixed the holes. They still bought a couple of attacking midfielders. And Bernard, I think when he wants to play, he's a good player. But that was the problem towards the end of his Shakhtar career, is that he just looked like he didn't care. And I think that's maybe why they didn't do a contract or anything like that. But he'd be on decent rates. Good signing. If he wants to play, then it'd be okay. But for the rest of the signings, I mean, they're okay. I don't think Andre Gomes, I think, is a good one. But outside of that, because he had a lot of clubs circling him. But outside of that, and him and Richarlison, I'll just watch first and make my decision after.
Must admit, I've not thought of Bernard since 2014 World Cup. I'm pretty sure he, tiny little guy. Now he's in the Premier League. Anyways, so that's Everton. Top half, maybe.
Yeah, we've all got them about 6th or 7th place.
Yeah. I think probably a little lower. I think I got them at 8 or something.
Yeah, you've got them at 8. But then you put Chelsea at 9, so...
Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
And I'd just like to point out I'm the only one who's put Man United 6th place.
Yeah, well, there's a long way to go, in fairness.
I think I did too.
Anyway.
We'll get to Man U. Fulham. Now that's an interesting team with a bunch of signings. So this is their list. Over 100 million.
Yeah.
John Michael Seri from Nice. Remember when Barcelona was
insane? I don't know how they got him.
Scored a cracker.
I don't know about that. I would absolutely love to have him. I think
same.
Fulham have pulled off an amazing bit of business there.
Yeah, insane, because they're going to be able to sell him for double what they paid.
Yeah, but that's not their only signing. Alfie Mawson. Oh, Alfie. Swansea.
in a quite poor Swansea team, he did really look really good when not injured.
Yeah. Andre Schürrle, remember him? Former Chelsea. On loan. Colum Chambers, even more directly on loan from Arsenal. A bunch of other guys, Maxime Le Marchand from Nice as well. Fabry, the goalkeeper from Besiktas, he doesn't look very good for his game.
I don't know why they didn't start with Bettinelli in the first couple of games, who I think since coming to Fulham has been their standout keeper.
Yeah. But they signed another keeper, Sergio Rico, on loan from Sevilla. Maybe they all right. Yeah. Joe Bryant from Bristol City, left back. Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa from Marseille for 22 million. Timothy Fosu-Mensah from Manchester United on loan. Luciano Vieto on loan from Atletico Madrid. That's another guy that a bunch of top teams want to sign.
Yeah. A couple of assists as well on the weekend. So
yeah. So they just won their first. Yeah.
The biggest one that you've missed out as well is Mitro on loan.
Mitrovic, yeah.
Oh, right.
their top goal scorer, equal top in the Premier League, I think.
Right, because he was already there that season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Newcastle got the raw end of that deal. I have to eat my own words and say that I didn't think that Mitrovic was a Premier League quality striker, but he's had a full season in the Championship at Fulham, scored a buttload of goals there, and again, he's already started off on fire, so I'm happy to say I'm at the moment wrong about him. So I think Newcastle got the raw end of that.
I don't think your assessment of Mitrovic is that wrong. I think you just put Mitrovic in the right team and he's going to score. He's going to be effective. He just needs the right team.
Yeah, he's in that what, like Arnautovic, Charlie Austin kind of bracket. He'll get you some goals. He's a big lad.
I think Arnautovic is a bit better than those. I think there's a bit of gap in between them. The quality it's a bit different. Since he's been playing as a striker, when he plays on the left, he can get lost. But actually, as a striker, he's really dangerous.
The little Ibrahimovic.
I can see that. Mini
Looks
Ibra.
a little bit like him too.
Well, no, Lidl, like the cheap supermarket.
Yeah, you know.
Lidl. Right, okay, I got you. Yeah.
But yeah, Mitro is fun. He's very old school. He's like a striker in like 20 years ago.
Yeah. He would have been top scorer in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Instead, now he ends up with 5 red cards a season.
But he has scored. Yeah.
There you go.
I thought when I saw him, whoa, that's a top half team from all these guys to sign. They lost the first 2 games, but maybe their last win against Burnley will spur them on finally. Takes a while for all these guys to come together anyways.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we've talked about the quality they've got there. I mean, some of those players should not be playing for that team, but there they are. I mean, I definitely fell in love with Fulham when they went to the Europa League final.
Right.
Under Hodgson, I think.
Yeah, it was under Hodgson, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it, like 2012?
10 years ago. Earlier, much earlier. They got relegated in 2012. 2010.
I remember you had Mark Schwarzer in goal as well at that time. So.
John Arnorisa, mate. Remember him?
Yeah.
2010, so 8 years ago.
2010. Yeah. Kind of good to have them around back in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's good to have them around. Yeah.
All right, Fulham.
Unlucky, just a quick talk in this season.
Yeah.
Unlucky against Palace in their first game. They had an absolute ton of shots. Schürrle should have got a penalty. Schürrle has looked good this season so far, even though he's willingly played the 2 games and come and led against Tottenham. Against us in the second game, they had a lot of attacking threats and a lot of chances that perhaps 50-50 ones that could have been put away. So that could have been a different story than 3-1. And in the most recent game, they just looked a class above, and I think it was 4-1. So
4-2.
4-2. Right. Yeah. So I think the season's going to look alright for him.
Yeah. That's next we have Huddersfield. Man, these signings. Isaac Benza, Ben Hamer, who is their starter goalie, sort of, for some reason.
He's got injured now.
Yeah, whatever. Ramadan Sobi from Stoke. Terence Congolo, permanent from Monaco. He was there last season. Janino Bacuna, who has scored a fantastic own goal, if you haven't seen some YouTube clips in the Carabao Cup. Eric Durm, former German national from Dortmund. He hasn't been playing football for quite a while. I'm not going to pronounce this guy's name. And Lasso was also permanent this season. Okay. And Adama Diakabi. I want to like this team. I want this team to survive. I don't think they're going to survive this season.
Yeah, I've got them to be relegated.
Yeah, I've got them in second last place, and I really would love them to do it. They're like kind of Australia's second team because of Aaron Moy in there, and Moy playing for Hud. It's going to be a rough season. Moy hasn't played. I think it's just the one game or two games, just from the birth of one of his children. So, I think, unfortunately, if Moy doesn't play well, then I think they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they are kind of the US's number one team because they have the only American-born coach in English top flight right now. Well, not American-born, but he's American, has some sort of American nationality of some sort. David Wagner. I mean, I want this team to survive. I think last season was a minor miracle. They had a great start. That's why that got them a bunch of points early on, and they were just supposed to survive that way. But I can't see it, and especially after this horrible start.
Yeah, I don't think it's really too much I can say about them. They're going to struggle, unfortunately, and it's just try not to get beat by too much. Because I think it's because they play such an expensive type of football. Yeah, I think it's because they play such an expensive type of football that it just leaves them open all the time. In fairness, they're actually quite unlucky against Chelsea not to equalise again in that first half, and who knows what could have happened from there. But they've been Chelsea just kicked it up a gear, and then there was no problem from there. So I think it's going to struggle.
Yeah.
Easy relegation to Huddersfield and Cardiff. Yeah. It's that third one that people are having trouble with.
It's right. Alas. So next we have Leicester, former Premier League champions. Of course. Undefeated. Well, no, they lost the first game. They lost to Manchester United. That should have been a win.
Yeah.
That should have been a win. They signed James Maddison for $22 million from Norwich, England's next big thing.
Good signing.
Ricardo Pereira, the right back from Porto.
Decent.
Yeah, Johnny Evans. Remember Johnny Evans last season when everybody wants to sign Johnny Evans?
West Brom stopped him from leaving the club as well. So I think Tottenham were heavily linked with him. Would have been a good fourth, fifth choice centre half for us. But no one let him leave. But now he's going to join Leicester, which I think is a good move.
Yeah. They've also signed
the only decent player for West Brom last year.
They also signed two other centre backs, Filip Benkovic from Dynamo Zagreb and Kaklar Soyuncu, who is also a guy that apparently a bunch of top teams wanted that ended up in Leicester. I think Arsenal was heavily linked with this guy.
Yeah, we were.
Also, Rashid Ghazal as their big loss in the summer was Riyad Mahrez to Manchester City.
Of course, but they got a pretty penny for him.
It's true, $16 million.
I think he is irreplaceable, but Maddison's going to fill a lot of the hole. He looks like a really good player, especially in that Manchester United game. When he was on the ball, he kept trying to make things happen, which was the most impressive part. Just not a lot of fear, and could have scored if it wasn't for De Gea. So definitely promising in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of interesting players from the Championship last season that have since made the leap back to the Premier League. I mean, we haven't talked about Ryan Sessegnon, of course, when we talk about Fulham. He hasn't looked that great so far though, but that's another guy who ripped it, and of course Mitrovic. So it'd be interesting.
I think Sessegnon was the player of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, Sessegnon was the player of the year. Young player. Yeah. I think Leicester is now weirdly much better in defense than attack. We used to think of them. They're the team that has Vardy and Mahrez. They have now a very solid defense led by, of course, Harry Maggs, who famously didn't leave.
Yeah. I think there's no one that looks more assured at the back of the season than him. He just looks like he's just comfortable, composed, and just doesn't care about anyone around him. He's had a good season so far, but they look alright. I like the look of Leicester. As long as Vardy doesn't go out stomping and jumping at people with feet, then I think they'll be alright.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
Yeah.
He'll get on the beers and then 2-foot someone.
Yeah.
Well, that was horrible.
Good old Jamie. Stop being racist to Asians. Anyways, now, okay, another big team now, Liverpool. And all of these signings have so far been very fascinating. Naby Keita from, of course, RB Leipzig for 50 million. Looks so far worth every penny of it. Absolutely fantastic so far. Fabinho, who hasn't played so far, he's been injured or sick or something like that.
He's struggling to get to grips with the pace of the way Klopp wants to play so far. That's from what I've heard.
Right. Alisson Becker, their new keeper. They have also gotten rid of both. Oh, they've only gotten rid of Karius. For some reason, what's his name? Mignolet is still hanging around. He's imminent. And finally, who can forget? Xherdan Shaqiri, the power cube, the Alpine Messi.
Just walking spaghetti meatballs, honestly. Just
yeah. So Liverpool, 3 wins.
I mean, who can stop them, really?
Well, maybe when they play a better team. Because in fairness, the Palace looked good away, and Brighton were hard to break down. West Ham just were open, but I think in 2 weeks' time when they play Tottenham, that's going to be a better gauge for both clubs to really see where they're at. And I think everyone, including myself, just had them as the closest challengers to City.
Yeah.
They look good as what they have been. Normally, those 2 games that I just mentioned would have probably been a draw in years gone by, but they're managing to eke out those wins. It's only 3 games in, obviously, but they look really dangerous. And Naby Keita, he's just absolutely seamlessly fit in. I think so far he's probably the signing of this season, if you don't count Mitrovic, just because he's already played. But in terms of quality of play that's led to goals, he's been a link-up in pretty much all their goals so far. And I think he's probably the closest thing to Gerrard that they've had. He's got the number as well, and it's just that all-round player. For such a short player, he's very strong on the ball, off the ball, and good pass, good skill, drives forward, defends as well. So I think, and they've got options off the bench with, as you said, with Shaqiri, who at least he can find a ball, like put him on at the 70th minute, and if things aren't going right, try and break it down. Sturridge looks like a player reborn. It looks like that loan spell to West Brom really put things into perspective for him about playing at a club of a decent size like Liverpool, and this is his last chance, and I think he's just happy just to play and to see if he's just not as selfish. Alisson, obviously, good signing and has looked comfortable so far. For the most part, and they plugged holes they needed to fill, and they plugged them well. Bit of money, but that's what unfortunately we have to do these days, and I think they just spent the money well. I think it was like £160 million, but for the inflated price, it's money well spent.
Can they do it? Do you think? Can they do it? Can they win their first league title since 1804?
If there wasn't a team called Manchester City in the Premier League, then I think it'd be a fair good shout. But unfortunately, there's that team that seems to be a very good team.
I will say this: Liverpool is the team that Manchester City has the most trouble against all last season. I mean, they lost to them twice.
They've lost the last 3 games in a row.
Oh yeah, 3 games. Yeah,
3 games.
Both legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, if they can beat up. So I think Liverpool last season they had a lot of problems against smaller teams, right? A lot of draws. Defense was a huge problem in the first half of the season. Now that Virgil van Dijk is there, it seems so much better.
And they've got a decent keeper.
Yeah, Alisson hasn't given a single goal so far.
The weakest thing that you'd look at that team would be Gomez, and so far I think he's like with Alderweireld for Tottenham as Van Dijk with Liverpool, was that whoever plays next to him seems to be like he just makes them look like a much better player. There seems to be a lot more calmer, just because of the composure that Van Dijk has himself. It just exudes it onto other players around him, and Gomez has looked untroubled pretty much so far. Yeah. Again, not the quality of opposition that you'd probably really say he's been put up to a decent test, but you can only play what you've got in front of you. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, they've thrown everything in the kitchen sink this season in terms of money. So I think this is the year. They're looking at Firmino, Mane, and Salah, and they're thinking if they can stay fit, they're all in the peak of their career. It could be that year that it all clicks for them.
Why not so far? It's
not?
just all to how they play against the lower teams that are just going to play 10 behind them, which notoriously sound hard to break down. But that was effectively Brighton and Palace to an extent. They've got positive results, and it all just depends how they go against other top 4 teams if they can continue their form from last season, which was very good against top 4 teams or top 6 teams.
Well, I mean, personally, a Champions League winner side in 2005. Throughout my entire life, they've bottled everything. So, I mean, it's close for who bottles more, Tottenham or Liverpool. But I think
you can only think if anyone, because they've been in more finals than we have.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I think
get there
I think if anyone could bottle it this year, they could, and if anyone could snatch it off them, City could definitely do it. You know, I could. But who knows? Early days, and that Tottenham game will be the real test for him for sure.
It's going to be a great pity game. That we're not going to move into our new stadium by then as well, with all those complications. That would have been an absolute cracker.
I'm not going to talk about your stadium until we get to Tottenham. Too much to say.
Sure.
Speaking of teams challenging for the championship, is there really anything else to say about Manchester City? They've made one single signing, really. Riyad Mahrez, 60 million. Which
I think is kind of timely. They've effectively got the same team as last year, purely because of De Bruyne being injured. Mm-hmm. That's I think it's 3 months out, 2-3 months out, and I think that is gonna. I have no idea how that's going to go for them, because that's a big loss. Easily their best player, and
but look at Bernardo Silva. I mean, he's killing it for them right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pep famously after the Community Shield against Chelsea, he said, "At the moment, I've got Bernardo Silva and 10 players to choose from." So Pep, he's had a decent preseason. He's had plenty of time to settle in, which I think it was a long time, at least the first half of the season last year, for him to settle in, because he really struggled. Then he started to come into it towards late in the season, and he's just kicked on from there. So I think that Monaco team, honestly, the players that everyone's been able to get from that team when Silva was in there, I'd love to see that team right now just play anywhere.
Yeah, Benjamin Mendy as well from that team. He has been also an inspiration in the left back.
Pretty much new signing.
Yeah, so they have drawn one game very controversially against Wolves. That was definitely not a goal. Maybe a shout for VAR in the Premier League. We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that eventually. Anything else? Is there really? I mean, look, Manchester City. You lose to De Bruyne. You have a guy like Bernardo Silva to fill the gaps. You have a guy like Riyad Mahrez who can just walk into the team. It's like, in terms of depth, this is insane.
Yeah, the depth is insane.
Sorry.
You go.
They've lost Yaya Toure.
Well, they don't care.
Who hasn't been the same for them, but he's a player that epitomizes their rise from crap team that they used to be to title contending super
Watcher.
Yeah.
Remember those years, Manchester City fans, while you drink champagne and glory over everybody else in the Premier League. Signings at the start of Benjani and Rocket Santa Cruz.
Oh. Giorgio Samaras. Remember Giorgio Samaras, Man City fans.
Phil Dunn.
Remember Orlando Bianchi. I can continue listing fun Manchester City. Anyways, but they're not. They're probably going to win everything. The next team is even more interesting, I think. Manchester United.
No, boys. Come on. Respect, boys. Respect.
All right, so let's see how much respect we show their signings. They have signed Fred. I thought this Fred would be better than the other Fred, but turns out this Fred is also garbage. People should just stop playing Brazilian guys named Fred. I think that's a lesson we all learn.
Just Brazilian mums, do not call your sons Fred, please. This has been a VOC PSA.
They've also signed Diogo Dalot from Porto. Haven't seen him yet. He's injured. And finally, who can forget? They signed Leigh Grant.
Who?
I don't know.
Number 2.
The guy who throws balls at David De Gea. I don't know what. So yeah.
Wow. Man United. I feel like we're not going to be able to hold off. We're just going to get to it now, you know.
Yeah, just release it all. How soon do you think Mourinho is going to get sacked?
I hope never. I hope he has the job for life because I'm enjoying this far too much.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, go ahead.
In a minute, I'm just going to go into a tangent about that because
I
feel like that. Yeah, I'll get to it in a minute. You just say what you want about Man United.
I mean, they suck. The defense.
That's apparent.
I mean, the defense for this whole summer. So this entire Manchester summer is this giant soap opera of Mourinho moaning about wanting to sign this and that player, and Ed Woodward just ignoring him or something. They obviously need more defenders, but the problem is all their current central defenders are the guys that Mourinho brought in a season ago or season 2 ago, like Eric Bailly, like Victor Lindelof, and they suck.
Okay, this is where I come in because
go ahead.
With Mourinho at the moment, I actually sympathise. Sorry, earpieces for that. I actually sympathise with him and a lot of Man United fans right now because Mourinho is not just the only problem, and it's not just the players that have come in under his tenure, because that's what it feels like a lot more. And speaking to a few Manchester United fans, they all believe, and I agree with them as well, is that Bailly was probably a Mourinho signing. Lindelof is not a Mourinho signing. I'm under the belief that that is more a Ed Woodward signing, and more for marketing reasons, the same as why Pogba...
Marketing to who? Swedish fans?
Yeah, probably to a lesser extent for Lindelof, but like alluding to more Pogba. I don't think Mourinho actually wanted Pogba.
Probably not,
was a 2-year signing.
Yeah, considering how much they fight each other.
Yeah, like... that was effectively like a 2-year signing. I can't remember who the player was that they brought in to help facilitate that. But there's a lot more problems than Mourinho. I think that the Glazers are the biggest problem at Man United, the same as what Gillett and Hicks were for Liverpool. The fact that they loaned a few £100 million to buy the club back in like 2001 or whatever.
Yep.
And they've only out of all the money spent, they've only put in 16% or thereabouts of their own money. So absolute pittance. All they keep doing is taking out of the Manchester United trust funds and just making more loans. The idea, they were in $1 billion worth of debt, and they've still got like $600 million worth of that, or pounds worth of that still to go. In comparison, which was kind of the same thing that happened to Liverpool, is that they had Gillett and Hicks that bought the club and didn't spend a dime of their own money, absolutely nothing of their own money, taken out of Liverpool trust funds as well. Until Henry and Fenway Sports Group came in, started spending their own money, has cleared all their debt, bought it for £300 million, and have already had a £2 billion offer rejected from the Fenway Sports Group. So I think, unfortunately, Manchester United fans, Liverpool are in a much better fiscal and on-pitch position than you are. And until you get rid of the Glazer family, it's going to continue the same thing, because there is clearly a lack of support from the board to Mourinho. And even if it's the same thing with Moyes and Van Gaal, is that pretty much they haven't had the signings that they wanted to come in. Mourinho, he wanted Alderweireld, and for some reason, because Alderweireld as well was willing to go, they didn't manage to get that through. He wanted a couple other people, didn't come through. And with the Alderweireld thing, it said that they didn't have enough money for that after spending money on Fred. But all of a sudden, there's 100 million open for Varane come out of nowhere. So I think what they do is they're more worried about the marketable signings, a bit like Madrid, except Madrid can still have success on pitch. They're trying to get these marketable, trying to sell shirts, and that's classic Woodward as well. So I think Woodward and the board are one of the biggest problems, but it's just not a good marriage with him and Mourinho and the board and the players that he's inherited. A lot of them have come in under his watch. but I just don't feel like that. It's a toxic relationship that's going to continue unless both go. Obviously, Mourinho is going to be the one to take the fall, but no matter what manager you bring in, Zidane, it's just as hypothetical, they bring in Zidane, who had a ready-made team under him at Madrid by the time, and a different quality team as well, made that work. Is Zidane going to have the option to buy the players that he wants to help win titles? I don't think so, and he probably isn't as good of he's probably a better player manager than Mourinho is. I mean, that's not hard in fairness, but you look in the difference between when I think just before Woodward came in, you had Ferguson, who just lost the title to City on goal difference. And all he wanted, Ferguson, was a world-class striker, and he wanted Van Persie. And I think Gill, who at the time was the chairman or whatever, would have been right in his mind to say, well, why would you want a 29-year-old injury-prone centre-half that has no resale value? They bought him, and they, for £20 million, won a title. So I think the clear signs are that it's the board, but Mourinho is just not a good fit, even though that's his dream job, Mourinho. I just don't think that under the current tenure that it's going to work. So sack him if they want. I hope they keep him, because then it's less danger of Pochettino going, which I don't think he'll go anyway. But that's my only thing I'm worried about for that.
Fun thing about Jose Mourinho. Yeah, fun thing about Jose Mourinho, he's signed for another 4 years because they signed him to a new contract back in January.
Oh, well-deserved extension.
Have fun.
Yeah, curious. They're struggling at the moment. They've got, I think the next 4 or 5 games are actually quite decent. So
Brighton's supposed to be pretty decent.
Yeah, fair point. But I mean, the teams that they've got now, and in fairness to Brighton, they've actually looked okay.
Yeah,
but I think they've got like Newcastle and I think Burnley away at the moment.
Burnley away, Watford away, Wolves at home. Wolves at home, West Ham away. Those are the next 4 games for Manchester United.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're very winnable.
Well, I don't know. Wolves. I don't know. We're talking about Wolves. Burnley, yeah. They're due for something.
But, I mean, for all we know, they could be, 18 points or however many or win 7 games out of a possible, so 21 points out of a possible 27, and everyone just could be looking another way. Yeah, that's enough for me, Manchester United.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the decline, and the Mourinho tears are wonderful. I wish they could bottle them and sell them.
All right, I don't know what's going on with that. Sorry, let me pause for a second.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of minutes. I'm just about to head off to work, but I can still be on the phone. I've just got the earpiece in.
All right, we'll try and wrap up the last couple. There's only about...
It takes me an hour to drive to work, so you're fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I've got to head soon anyway. My tummy's rumbling. I don't want to be munching on Skype.
Yeah, I don't think there's I think pretty much like this is kind of like a one-off episode, the way that it's doing it this way, because of the whole transfers, the way we're doing it. So I think it's going to be a little bit cohesive and efficient in the future ones. Oh, no, you're right. Because I think from then on it's just going to be like about key matches and table positions, pretty much.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Should we go on?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, let's go a little faster. Newcastle, they interestingly enough, for a team that doesn't spend any money, they've actually made quite a few signings. I don't know if any are any good. Martin Dubravka.
How much money they've spent though.
Yeah, I know. It's less than 10 million. We know. Yeah, well, probably more than 10 million. Probably more than 10 million. I don't know how much Muto cost them. Probably, I have no idea. Muto's undisclosed. Probably 15, I'm going to guess. Ki-Sung Yeon on a free. Kennedy on loan. He was horrible in that game against, what was it?
Cardiff.
Wow, Cardiff. Yeah, they couldn't beat Cardiff. Fabian Schär.
Kennedy had a penalty. He should have been sent off. I don't know if it was that game or another game, but he should have been sent off. And yeah,
Federico Fernandez, man. I mean, I know you don't have money, but why do you spend money on this guy? And Solomon Rondon, who, yeah, I mean, he's okay.
I like
Benitez,
though.
People say he's a ready-made Premier League striker, but how much has he scored, in fairness? It's not a lot.
No. From a relegated team? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Benitez is good. I guess he's willing to just take it from Mike Ashley. He likes it in Newcastle or something. I would have left.
Yeah, it's not like I'm sure he's getting offers elsewhere.
I mean, if he really wants to coach somebody who, with questionable player pool, come to the United States. We still have a national team opening. But yeah, Newcastle. Have they won a game so far?
No, I think they've just got the 1 point.
Oh man,
that was against
Cardiff.
Cardiff.
Oh boy,
lost to Tottenham. In fairness, they looked okay against Tottenham, but Tottenham were pretty shaky in that match. With pretty much effectively half of the 11 all played in the semi-final of the World Cup, so or semi-final beyond. So I think that game wasn't a true representation. And after that, I think it was the Cardiff game and then Chelsea just recently. So they've had a tough fixture run so far, and it's going to keep getting tougher as well in the coming weeks. But still, I don't think it's going to change anything.
Relegation material, you thinking?
They might be.
Until Benitez actually gets backed and helped, which I don't think that's going to happen again under another poor ownership tenure, who theoretically has a lot of money but doesn't actually want to spend any of it because he says he hasn't got any money free. Well, why buy a club if you haven't got any money free?
And also, why do you buy department stores that's about to go bankrupt if you have no money?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was it? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was Debenhams, was it, that you bought?
House of Fraser.
House of Fraser, that's the one.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Newcastle fans. I know you guys are already protesting. People are going to fight. I have no takes on
Southampton. They've been protesting for a few years now, but
it's true.
Based on those signings, though, I mean, potential relegation material. If Brighton can perform, maybe they'll take their place.
Well, I had Watford down in that last relegation spot, but I mean, at home they look really good. The only problem is that Newcastle just look really bad, and for the first 3 games, I don't know many others that have looked any worse, to be honest. Probably Huddersfield, but
Cardiff maybe,
and Burnley.
Yeah,
but I don't think they'll get in. So at the moment, the other third favourite to go down would be Newcastle.
At this point, they may be one of the candidates. Another candidate, though, in my mind, is Southampton. They signed.
Forgot about them.
They signed Vestergaard from Mönchengladbach for 18 million. They signed Stuart Armstrong from Celtic, Mohamed Al Yunusi from Basel, and Danny Ings. Danny Ings is playing football again. Remember Danny Ings?
Good for him, in fairness.
Yeah, it's good for him. Yeah.
If he could have just got his body right, I don't think he was a top 6 quality striker, but he is a quality striker at least. It's just such a shame.
Maybe.
I think it's been like 3-4 years, and he barely played any minutes. But most of that's just because of injury. So,
right.
I did forget about Southampton, and they look in a bit of trouble. And I think Hughes, before the start of the season, would have been the favourite to be the first manager sacked. But you can throw that one into the air now. But
I always have a place in my heart for Mark Hughes. He did good for Blackburn, but since Blackburn, he has been nothing but disappointing. They lost Tadic, they lost Classy, they lost Buffal. The latter two on loan for some reason. I don't see creativity in this midfield anymore.
I think Buffal is a bit of a liability. So I think they did make a good move there. But the Tadic one, he's pretty much effectively. I think he was their lead goal scorer and lead assist maker last season. Yeah. So that's a big problem. That's a lot of goals and just assists to try and replace just in one player. And they don't look good just around the park anyway. Defensively shaky, and Bertrand at least is fit and absolute cracking goal on the weekend. But
it's true.
They got overrun pretty easily. But I think it was Leicester that they were playing. I can't remember. But and they lost. So. Well, good luck. And now we get to Tottenham Hotspurs. They didn't lose anybody. Here's the list of players they brought in. and the list of players they put out.
Yep, that's it. Nothing.
Yep. Only rumoured to try and get Grealish and Zaha. That is it as well. So not even excitement on the rumour front.
Jack Grealish were bust. That was your transfer window, and that was a bust.
In fairness, how many players could you buy for like under 50 million that would actually genuinely improve our starting 11? I think at least in defensive midfield is probably our weakness at the moment, and just club depth. But outside of that, you're not for a reasonable price. You're going to be able to actually get someone to replace someone in the starting 11. I think I'm going to turn into an Arsenal. Okay, let me preface this. I'm going to turn into how Arsenal fans are with Aubameyang, with Lucas Moura. In terms of they were both January signings, but let's be honest, Lucas has looked really, really good, and I'm going to claim him as a new signing. I haven't done until now, but the one thing I like to look at, Sanchez and Lucas were both bought in January, who will just say has already gone on to better things, and Lucas pretty much did nothing, didn't play too much last season. Sanchez only scored like a goal against us in the FA Cup semi-final. That's pretty much all he's done. And Lucas just banged into against United.
Yep.
It is papering over a little bit of the cracks at the moment in terms of Tottenham, but I wasn't worried about the lack of signings. If ever in the history that we were not going to sign anyone, I think this is the best time to not sign anyone, which is, it sounds weird as it is. Theoretically, you're not improving your squad, but we were never going to improve our first team. It's just the squad depth we're worried about. Because if we go far into Europe, then all of a sudden it's going to be tested, and then we'll be forced to play Serge Aurier, which I don't want. The guy
he looked all right. He looked all right. He looked all right in the first game.
He looks all right if he doesn't go to ground. Because he just gives away fouls unnecessarily. But
touch of the Mustafis about him.
Mate, you keep going with that. Touch it. He's just a calamity waiting to happen, honestly. I don't see too many issues outside of the whole stadium furor that's going on right now in terms of, it was supposed to be ready by the Liverpool game. We're only supposed to be playing one game at Wembley, but now that's turned into 3, possibly a half a season until January. Unless there's any news that's come in overnight, because at the start of the recording of the podcast, it was 5:30, so I did have 5:30 a.m., so I did have a decent sleep and missed pretty much all the news that's happened in the day, so I'm not aware of anything that's happened in the past 10 hours, but you
haven't signed anyone, don't worry. You haven't signed anyone, don't worry.
We haven't lost anyone. I think
that's true. No, nobody left really. Nobody came in.
No, Alderweireld, Rose, and Tay all stayed. All of them played against United. 2 of them wanted to go to United, and both of them performed. Well, 2 of the 3 performed pretty well. I think Rose was a bit lackluster, but it was a bit rusty. He hasn't really featured in too many games this season, so I can give him a pass for that. But United in the first half, they looked fantastic. They're pressing up really high as well. We couldn't string 2 passes together, but then in the second half, they just decided they weren't going to do that anymore, and then we got a foothold in the game. It was pretty much after the Lukaku open goal miss that things just started to turn. Moura had a penalty chance turned down, which was clear cut penalty. But if anyone ever compares Lukaku to Harry Kane and thinks that they're even close at the same level, they're fuck off on it now, because there is daylight between the two. Lukaku's probably a little bit faster and a little bit stronger, but that is it. He doesn't know how to use his body. Has like the first, pretty much a brick wall has a better first touch than him. So
Well,
I don't think there's too many concerns. I just want to hurry up and get into the new stadium, get into a new White Hart Lane or Tottenham Hotspur Stadiums they're trying to brand.
You have seen pictures of the new stadium, right?
People think it looks like a toilet bowl. I don't really see the resemblance.
It definitely looks like. All right, if any one of the 10 people listening to this haven't seen images of the Tottenham Stadium, please Google it and please tell me that does not look like a toilet. To those same 10 people, maybe 11th now if you're telling your mate to go look at the pictures, but go also look at video of the inside of the stadium, and I'm so desperate to go to this. I did go to White Hart Lane, thankfully, but I want to go to this stadium even more, just to go to the bar that's
I think, like the longest in all of Europe. It's incredibly massive. Pretty much goes around a fifth of the stadium, and it's almost over top of the pitch as well. So, I think
fear not. There will be plenty of tickets available, I'm sure.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure, mate.
As long as we don't do an Arsenal... in fairness, though, we have, I think we've had 2 games all of last season under 50,000 at Wembley. So I don't think there's going to be any issues of selling tickets. There's already like a several-year waiting list for season tickets, even though we've just expanded the season ticket holder list because of just the extra 1,000 capacity over the Emirates there is as well.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, if you're going to build a stadium, it has to be like 10 people more than Arsenal Stadium.
I just want it to be one person more, just the same as what Arsenal trying to 50 million and £1 or something like that. So
yeah, don't worry. Arsenal are they're gonna put in some deck chairs on the roof just to bring it over again.
No, in all seriousness, I don't think we're going to have any problem with the attendance. I think it's just going to be a problem possibly settling into the new stadium, as it's notorious for a lot of clubs that come into new stadiums that there's a bit of teething problems. Arsenal really struggled in their first... Didn't you... I don't know if you lost your first game in the Emirates against West Ham or Aston Villa or something like that? But,
I believe we drew against Villa.
Okay. Because I think it was the following season you played against Villa and then you lost 3-1, which I think Kuna score sheet there.
Yeah, he scored a banger in that game. We lost quite a few opening day games. I think last season was the first time we hadn't lost on the opening day in a while. I remember being there for a Liverpool 4-3, Samir Nasri's last game. I've been there for a West Ham 3-1, where Xhaka got sent off on his debut, I believe, was it?
Nice.
Two of the last 3 seasons, you've lost 4-3 there as well. No, there've been 4-3 games. The other one was against Leicester, where you won 4-3.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah, that's guaranteed there. And then the folks, what was the other one this year? I can't remember. But I don't think it was.
So what's the new stadium going to be called? The Armitage Shanks Arena?
Go back to Woolwich. It's going to be called Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's the official name.
Very exciting name.
And
the whole idea is trying to build the brand itself of Tottenham Hotspur. I can understand. I don't particularly agree with. I think they should just call it White Hart Lane because it's still built on the same road. So, what do you guys think of Tottenham? I've gone on enough about it.
That Lucas Moura goal against Smalling was so satisfying.
The
way he just skinned Smalling. So, oh man, I had them in the top 4. I mean,
the only thing. Sorry to interrupt. The only thing I would say is. I remember a few years back, I think it was the year Leicester won the Prem, when Arsenal signed Petr Cech and not a single outfield player, and there was that stat, we're the only club to not do it in the world or something stupid. But there is a point to that, which is that everyone else is getting stronger. Yes, you've got a great squad.
Theoretically, except for who I think Torreira would be. Would you really say many of the other Arsenal signings genuinely improve that first team? Sorry, because
I would say
improvements, especially with Chelsea. But are they genuinely making a better team? Where this is me being a bit defensive, in fairness, but I think with Tottenham, it's still quite a young squad. It's not the youngest squad in the league anymore, but as it was a couple of years ago. But those same players, sure, they've played together for a couple of years, but a lot of them are still low to mid-20s, so to just naturally get better with age. Sure, there's not as many competition for places as what other people are doing as you would, and get a bit of a lift from a new signing. But I really don't think it's as bad as what people are saying. I'm loving the commentary from everyone writing us off, and I genuinely don't think we'll win the league. We could challenge for it, but I don't think it's going to be a sustained challenge.
Yeah, but that was my point though. is are you happy with the same result as last season? You know, top 4.
No.
Well, exactly, and all you're going to get is the same again. I don't see, I mean, unless Pochettino is some sort of wizard, I don't see him turning these players into anything more than what they were last season. And yes, you know, Lucas Moura has settled, but if you go into the new season with the same squad, everyone's going to be under the same impressions. Well, it's just going to be, you know, I start here, I play here, you're going to be on the bench and whatever. You know, signings are not just there I mean, they're obviously there to improve the team, but they also add that element of competition to a squad. And it can be easy for a team to get complacent. So, you know, having seen it at... I mean, having seen that, you know, the season that shall not be named when Leicester won the Premier League, and we bottled it basically. I mean, you know, fair play, Leicester, well done, amazing, but it was there for Arsenal or Tottenham to win it, and we both bottled it. And
100% as well.
And you know, I can't say I recall why Tottenham didn't do it, but for Arsenal, it's because we didn't sign anyone. And, you know, we got some injuries and there were gaping holes in our team and it fell apart. And the same thing could happen to you. I mean, if for example, you got to Christmas and you guys were, you know, 1 point or 2 or just a couple points within Liverpool and City, and it was like a 3-horse race, and then Harry Kane is out for 4 months.
Yeah, I think regardless of what point of the season, if Harry Kane just gets a couple of month injury, I think that's going to be a difficult hole to fill. We did fill it last year to an extent with Sonny playing up front. That wasn't an issue because it wasn't as long term as what we anticipated. But I 100% completely agree. And I'm not saying for any minute that not signing anyone is a good thing. I definitely think that it's a missed opportunity. I never had the impression that we were going to challenge for the title this year, purely because we're moving into a new stadium, and it just doesn't feel like a time that you should be trying to challenge. You should try and challenge every year, but I mean, make a concerted effort like Liverpool have. I knew there wasn't going to be any or significant investment coming into this season, where I feel like next season, at least theoretically, we're going to should have had those increased ticket sales, which brings us closer to Chelsea, Liverpool, United and Arsenal in terms of ticket revenue, which is the big thing that's separating the two clubs in terms of wages, in terms of income into the clubs. So that's the biggest hurdle that we had to try and close off the pitch. On the pitch, I know it's kind of a cop-out to say, but I genuinely feel like that next season's the season that we should be targeting to win that, the Premier League title, whereas this season, it's so Tottenham-esque, so Spursy to try and just have a good cup run, try and win a cup and then get top 4, because as long as we get top 4 this season, I won't consider it a failure, which a lot of people are. Possibly if we don't win a title, a cup, whether it be League or FA Cup, it could be considered a failure, but it's a bit annoying because the players like Kane and Dele Alli and Eriksen, the ones that people are tipping to move on within the next couple of years, possibly they'll see if they're going to stay this year, and next year we're probably going to be in the same boat as we are this year in terms of on the pitch, and then you're going to get even
not
more
signing anyone.
No, I think we'll definitely sign a few players next year, but maybe even in the summer. But I think one of the big problems is the media, which is the biggest problem for football in the UK, is the media anyway. So honestly, I could go on about this for a long time, but I think I'm just going to stop right there.
All right. So I think we're all nailed on top 4. I think is our prediction.
Yeah. Son Heung-min is one game away from not having to serve the army.
Possibly. He's already, he can't stay on till next year and try and win the Asian Games because the Asia Cup, which I think he's already had a year or 2 exemption from when he'd normally have to do that compulsory military service. And it's not guaranteed that if he wins the gold medal, it's not guaranteed that he's probably going to avoid it, but I'd say it'd be likely. If Leverkusen, your fucking team, hadn't decided to not let him go to your games 4 years ago.
Sorry.
Just to play 2 Champions League games.
Hey, you guys bought him. You guys bought him. Can't take him back. You guys bought him. Doesn't matter.
Where's that receipt?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was never going to butter us.
No, because you got him to play those Champions League games. But
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyways, that was fun. Okay. Let's do the last few very quickly. Watford. Not many interesting signings. Gerard Deulofeu, the most confusing person in the Premier League. I never know if this guy's good or not.
Was he at Stoke?
He was he? No. He was.
Everton.
Everton.
Sorry, he was at Everton. Yeah.
And then went to Watford last year.
Yeah.
And now he's on permanent.
Well, he went Watford in the second half of last year because he played first half for Barcelona. I think he even played a couple of games, but it's not a sustained period. On paper, it's a good signing, but I don't really think he's even featured this year. And I think Will Hughes has got that spot nailed, really.
Yeah,
I think Hughes is a bit more in the central and Deulofeu is wide, but the kid, one of those classic Barca players, a kid with absolute ton of potential, but just not being able to fulfill it, a la Bojan Krkić.
But Watford has been doing really well so far. They have 2 wins.
Yeah. 3 wins.
3 wins. Oh, yeah. They beat Puff Palace as well. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think their home form's never really going to be in question. It's just whether they can keep it away. Because the next 2 home games they've got are against Tottenham and Manchester United, so that's going to be interesting to start off with. But see how they go. And Pereira, the classic home ground specialist, feel like Wijnaldum for Liverpool only ever scored at home, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Apparently, the front line of Deeney and Gray is still working somehow. Fascinating. Okay, let's just go to West Ham. I mean, when I saw the list of signing that West Ham had, and as well as the managerial change, they have brought in Manuel Pellegrini, former Manchester City boss, former Real Madrid boss. They've signed Felipe Anderson from Lazio, Andriy Yarmolenko for Dortmund, Jack Wilshere from Arsenal, and Lucas Perez from Arsenal.
Yeah, Lucas Perez, who is looking like a great bit of dead weight that we've gotten rid of.
Apparently, they just love former Arsenal players because they also bought Lucas Fabianski.
Yes, they did.
But
you made a tidy loss on Perez as well. I think you bought him for 17 million and then sold him for 3 or something like that.
So, we took a hit for obvious reasons.
But West Ham so far look like shit. Garbage.
It's going to be another one of those betting in periods, I think, as well. I don't think they really too much defensively. They did get a couple of defensive signings, but I don't think
they're not very good. Balbuena and Diop. Horrible.
Diop's very suspect himself as well. Unfortunately,
got himself an own goal, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah. Maybe there's a turnaround. Maybe Jack Wilshere will finally. No, Jack Wilshere's not going to do jack shit. Anyways,
pun intended.
Back in your wheelchair.
He's not injured so far. He played every game so far.
Yeah, there's that. Fairness to Wilshere, didn't he start 38 games for Arsenal last season?
So he didn't start it. No.
In terms of cup as well.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, you had all that stuff, yeah. Hey, who knows? Maybe he's turned a corner on his glass legs.
Yeah. He's always been better for England because he's always played in a more advanced position. I don't think he's that kind of metronome player to play in front of the back 4 next to a midfielder that breaks stuff down. I don't think he's that kind of distribution player. He's that player that I think is more of an 8 that doesn't defend as well, where he gets into the box well and a couple of short passes and then get behind the defenders. But I still think he's been played out of position for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's why him and Ramsey could never really play in the same team together effectively.
Right.
But
Lampard and Gerrard.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of agree with you, but I feel like the position changes come because of the injuries, because he doesn't want to, the kind of player that he used to be is he would always bring the ball forward, beat a few man and get fouled pretty much. And he was one of the best players at drawing a foul, and he would get you so much ground and he'd take the pressure off the defence. But at the same time, he is a bit rash in a tackle and he does switch off defensively. Certainly did when he played Arsenal in the last game. He was going to sleep all over the place, and Bellerin was having all sorts of joy.
He genuinely had a pretty poor game. And I think as well, even though you can't play together, I can't remember who it was that said it in the media, but it sounds like a silly comment, but it is a true comment as well. Even though they're not the same type of player, they pretty much play the same role for the club. So, yeah, interesting.
Maybe they just shouldn't play Jack Wilshere.
Wise move.
And finally, we come to Wolverhampton Wolves, also known as George Mendes's player laundering machine. In which
Portugal's second team, honestly.
Portugal's second team. They signed Rui Patricio, Portugal's number one goalie. They signed João Moutinho, Ronaldo's lackey for the past decade or so.
31, but he's still a quality player and should have had a goal as well. It was a cracking effort. I can't remember who it was against, but it rattled the bar and could have easily been on the score sheet there.
Yeah, Adama Traore. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he's a great player, but Adama Traore is he's Shaqiri with steroids. He has steroids. Sorry,
he has completed more dribbles than anybody else last season by like double.
Yeah, but
he
in the championship, of course. But
yeah, the problem with Traore is he's incredible pace, probably one of the fastest in the league. Can get past so many men, but once he has to try and deliver a ball either towards like the box to a player or a shot, then it goes wrong. He's got like no genuine skill on the ball. He's great at ball control, but that's about it.
For most of his, for most of his career, he has been basically playing like a headless chicken.
Yep.
But
one position, wide right, and knock the ball forward and just beat a player. That's his MO. He did that well the other match. But in half a season he played for Tony Pulis, he was awesome. So for some reason, Adama Traore plays his best soccer with Tony Pulis.
I think that's all that needs to be said about it.
But Wolves coming into the season, I thought I'm perhaps a little bit too enthusiastic about their chances. I had them 5th.
Oh yeah, I had them there, like 8th or something.
Yeah, maybe just below Everton and best of the rest.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too enthusiastic about their chances, but I still think for the rest of the season they'll still do well. Although I don't think what's his name, the central midfielder who's hyped a lot.
Jota.
Or Jota.
The other one. Ruben Neves. He's not as good as I think he is. I thought he is.
Well, he's never scored a goal inside the box as well. He scored last season and all of them outside the box. And you can every time that he gets the ball near the penalty area, you'll hear the crowd yell shoot because he can. And he's good enough, but that's pretty much his play.
Yeah, I think that a lot of his success last season might be luck-based, now that I've actually watched him play for quite a bit. And also championship-level bad defending-based.
Yeah, a bit more like hell for leather in the championship in comparison to the Premier League. It's good. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they'll still be mid-table. I don't think they're in danger of relegation.
Nah.
Well, not yet. I mean, anything can change.
Sure.
They'll just spend more money in January if that's the case.
More Portuguese players.
Arsenal could win the league. It's only 3 games.
Yeah. All right. So that's the entire league. Except, can I have a few minutes to talk about my team?
Oh, Blackburn watch. Go.
Blackburn Rovers. We are undefeated.
You were a bit worried after the first 2 games, a couple of draws, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang.
Okay, well, to be fair, so the undefeated is we won 2 games in the Carabao Cup, we won 2 games in the league, and we drew 3 times. That's not great, but
we haven't 3 games league, aren't you on 9 points?
No, 2 games. 2 games, 3 draws, 6 points. No, 8 points. Right. Yeah. Which, isn't bad. We're just got promoted to a championship. We weren't making any signings until basically the last week of transfer window, and then since then a few others. We got this guy, Adam Armstrong, who played for us last season for Newcastle, 1.5 million. Looks like a good deal. Yeah.
I was impressed with him at Newcastle as well in a few games that I saw with him.
Hey. Scored 9 goals for us in the last season. League One, but we just had a loan signing of this guy named Ben Brereton from Nottingham Forest. He's only 18 years old. Very hyped player. For some reason, I don't know how we ended up with him. I don't know why Forest don't want to keep him. Maybe that's a red flag. We signed Jack Rodwell for some reason.
Wait, that's a blast from the past.
That's a name. Next big thing.
I mean,
Manchester City, like, gobbled him up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Chelsea. Manchester City or Chelsea, one of those big teams. And he went to Sunderland, and he got relegated in 2 straight seasons. That was fun for him, I'm sure. But he's on free, and he's a backup, and he doesn't perform. We kick him out end of the season, so it doesn't really matter that much. So far, we haven't really played any great teams so far. The best team we've played is Brentford. Good luck to any of the listeners of this podcast know what Brentford is.
Well, didn't they win their first game like 1 something?
Yeah, and we beat them. So hey, that's a thing.
But it was fun.
Yeah,
I'll never forgive Brentford. They knocked Leighton Orient out of the the playoff final.
Yeah, and now Leighton Orient is, I think, somewhere in the conference.
We are in the conference.
I'm so sorry.
Very correct.
I'm very sorry.
Hey, it's the. I think I've seen about 2 Leighton Orient victories, and the rest have been defeats or draws. Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Seriously.
I remember I used to play a career mode with Leighton Orient all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
All the time. So it's a bit of a soft spot there. But
Harry Kane was there for a little bit.
Oh yeah, he was alone.
In fairness, Harry Kane was loaned out to like 9 clubs. But
but hey, as a team that has recently been in League One and not that far away from your team, I feel you.
Yeah, well, we've just gone deeper and deeper, and it goes back to what you said about owners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't bore everyone with that story.
Our owners still suck, but they're now not doing anything to interfere. Our manager is Tony Mowbray. You may remember him for a very short-lived career in the Premier League with West Brom, but he's good in it. He's good for us. Casey Palmer, who we loaned from Chelsea, I have no idea how we managed to loan him. He should be playing the Premier League, but he's been awesome. He scored a goal against Brentford. Hey, so far so good. Incredibly, I think we're still mid-table championship. We're still,
you're just outside the
I know
the promotion places.
It's 5 games out of 40, like 40, so it's like whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure Middlesbrough is going to get promoted because Tony Pulis. I think Villa is probably going to get a decent playoff spot.
Future, I suppose, player Jack Grealish as well. Just getting him up there.
Sure.
Swansea, Birmingham.
I don't
stand out.
Oh yeah, Leeds. That's right, Championship. Yeah. Now features Leeds coached by Bielsa, Marcelo Bielsa. And they've been basically scoring buckets of goals every single game. So
they look good too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Bielsa could Yeah, I don't know. Bielsa could quit next week, and it's not a surprise to me.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The lifespan of a Leeds manager is as short as like bond agents in the history of Bond. So, anything can happen with that club. Honestly, as long as they have, I can't remember the Italian owner's name, but for as long as he's there, I think it's going to be chaos. I'd like to see him in the Premier League. It'd be Ellen Road just rocking again. That'd be great to see.
Wait. I remember them in the Champions League.
Oh yeah, 2001, 2002.
Look at that.
Leverkusen played them. Leverkusen knocked them out.
You're just causing all sorts of hurt today, aren't you?
I'm sorry. We had Michael Ballack.
Oh, what a player.
But yeah, but this is not Leverkusen corner. This is Blackburn corner. Okay, I don't have much more to say. We're not going to get promoted, but we've done okay. I don't think we're going to get relegated.
You can get promoted, so
I don't know.
It's just nice when they win. It's one of those teams.
Yeah. Hey, we still have more Premier League titles than Tottenham and Liverpool combined.
Liverpool have never won the Premier League.
Premier League, not the Division 1. Division 1.
I'll go here as well. Yeah. No, fair play. I can't say anything about that. Shearer.
Chris Sutton has now been tweeting all the time about us for some reason. I guess that's his level of commentary. Anyways.
The glory days. He's already getting ready for the 20-year anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's about it. No, that's already.
Oh no, it's been and gone. Sorry, 30.
That's already hit. It's about 30. Yeah, we're going 25 now. We're going 25 now. Yeah, and we're still under the ownership of Venky's, the chicken vendors from India.
That's a match made in heaven.
That's not a word I would use to describe them. But they're not doing anything. They're not appointing random guys from Malaysia as our director of football anymore. So hey.
It was so funny when Cardiff were doing that. I was at uni in Cardiff when they took over. What's his name? The one who looks like a Bond villain.
Vincent Tan.
Vincent Tan, that's it. And he was
trying
to turn them to the Dragons, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's still there.
They've always been the Bluebirds, and he wanted to make them the Dragons.
He wants to turn the team colors red. Yeah.
Yeah. Just completely flip it all over.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I think it was met with a bit of pushback, and they've retained their blue colours after a couple of seasons.
Yeah, a little bit.
See, this is what you miss out if you just follow the top 16s. All of the fun shenanigans in lower table and championship. You miss out on bizarre owners, our owners, Portsmouth owners.
If you want to look at bizarre owners over the years, just look at Birmingham City.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're definitely better than Birmingham. We're definitely better than Hull, who are also owned by weirdos.
I still find that hilarious. Last season, Birmingham instilled Redknapp as manager, and guess who he signed as one of his first players? Nico. I can't even remember.
Cranshire.
Nico Cranshire, who's just twice Tottenham player. So
he must be about 60 by now.
That's his favorite guy. He signed him everywhere he goes.
I remember, he was at Portsmouth with him.
He was at Portsmouth. He was at Tottenham.
Twice at Tottenham. He was signed Tottenham, then went to Portsmouth with Redknapp, and then came back to Tottenham. This time with Redknapp there, and went to QPR. He also signed him there, and now he's at Birmingham. And I don't know where Redknapp is now. I think he was managing.
I don't think he's coaching anymore.
It was Jordan, something like that. But.
Oh yeah, Jordan national team. Unfortunately, you cannot get Cranchar qualified for that.
He's just sticking to the gambling now. Him and Big Sam, they're starting their own betting company.
Really?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's believable though, isn't it? It's believable.
Yeah, it is.
It is
considering what Big Sam has been up to before.
So add Mike in there, and then get horse racing, and then you've sold me, honestly.
By the way, I'm done with Blackburn unless you really want me to keep talking about Bradley Dack or Darragh Nenahan or David Raya.
It's good, mate. I think we've had our Blackburn fill. The fans are sated.
All right. Shall we wrap it up here?
Yeah. Don't think too much else that I've got written down. All I've got is done key stuff. The win, pretty much. The undefeated teams: Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Watford, City, and Bournemouth. All teams that are winless: Wolves, Cardiff, Newcastle, Southampton, Burnley, Huddersfield, and West Ham are currently the only team that are pointless. I think we've covered Mourinho, we've covered Liverpool, City. It's been a lot of red cards, especially like this week. I think it was like 3 or 4 this week.
Yeah.
2 in the same team, 2 in one game.
Yeah, Liverpool probably won the transfer window, but just titles aren't won on the transfer window. You don't get any points for that, so we can't also lose points for that, which is good.
Just neutral.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chaotic neutral, I suppose.
And look forward to Blackburn next season, guys. No.
All right, steady.
Yeah.
Look forward to Leighton Orient 2040.
Yeah, I think that's a good wrap-up of August, honestly.
All right, so thanks for listening, I guess. This has been the English Premier League cast. We'll do more of these maybe in the future, probably once a month. That's good.
Once a month sounds good.
As you could probably imagine if you're listening, that there's 3 different nationalities here, 3 different time zones.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit hard to organize all 3 of us trying to get something in. So
I was thinking about that earlier today. We've got you crack of dawn, we've got Bing in the afternoon, and we've got me. It's just after 11 here PM.
Man.
With the globe covered.
Yeah.
We're straddling 2 different days. It's wonderful.
Maybe we'll get the Aussie League in here next time.
Season hasn't started yet, so I can just do like a quick 2-minute roundup of.
Okay, go ahead.
Melbourne victory, losing FFA Cup. Get absolutely F.
Sure.
You can stuff off. Adelaide United, my team. I'm from Adelaide, and we managed to scrape through to, I think, the quarters of the semis of the FFA Cup.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We are the inaugural winners of that as well, so I did enjoy that. Melbourne City just beat Newcastle, who were the grand finalists of last season, so well done for them. That's probably a really quick summation, honestly, of that, because the season hasn't started yet. The A-League has a big problem at the moment where it pretty much everyone that's currently an Australian player that's in a team has probably been to 3 other A-League clubs within the last 10 years anyway. So we just got a good way of recycling players, which is a big problem in itself. Australia FFA has to really sort itself up. But I can cover Australia and Asia. Bing, you can take care of North America and South America. And
I don't know about South America. I can do MLS. Very sure.
Time zones, honestly. And Noah, you can look after Africa and Europe.
Oh, just that small continent.
Oh, yeah. Clint Dempsey just retired. That's the biggest MLS news recently.
Oh, gutted.
Yeah, retired. Well,
he scored the winner for Tottenham at our first win at Old Trafford.
That's true.
A decade ago. So,
Fulham legend.
Fulham legend, Tottenham.
Yeah. Tottenham player.
Seattle Sounders first. Anyways, yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll probably do this once a month. We'll cover the Champions League later on once that really gets started, maybe. And yeah. This has been Bing. I'm Shushan on Forums. Thank you, Leigh.
Thank you very much, Bing.
And thank you, Noah.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. See you in a month. Bye.
Peace.
All right.
Cool. All right. That was the thing. That was the recording.
Yeah.
We did it.
Thing.
Awesome. We did it.
Go us. I've got no idea.
We've done it.
We've done it.
I have no idea if this recorded or not. I
feel like we're gonna all we're all gonna have to take turns at waking up at 4 a.m. for the others.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's certainly a little bit hard for me because I've got shift work. So every 2 weeks I change it between days, nights, and afternoons as well. So like next fortnight, pretty much I'm going to be going to sleep at 8 a.m., which is effectively when Noah goes to sleep for me. So and then I'll get up and work it. So I'll effectively be on like UK time. When I'm on afternoons, I'm pretty much on US time anyway. So it's an interesting thing. So it's frustrating, but generally, like I'm always getting up at like the oddest hours of the morning, whether it be like from 2:30 to like 4:30. Once daylight saving kicks in, then it'll probably be a bit more 6:30ish. So. And also we're going to contend with that as well, just trying to figure out time zones for that. But I'm pretty used to getting up at ungodly hours in the morning, so I don't really have a problem getting up early, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a better time worked out next time.
Yeah, let's do it nice and far in advance as well, so we can just lock off a few hours.
Yeah.
I actually like doing it like how it's worked out. That I know it would have been nice to cover like the transfer period just after it finished, but it feels kind of clean. Just August is finishing, and there's no more games in this, and then we can do September and so on. So
I agree.
And like I said before, it's going to be a lot more efficient in future episodes. It's not going to be 2 hours every time. So I think we'll get a proper structure down, and which I kept saying like, I'll just like try and figure out a good structure and whatnot, but I just
sorry. I just came up with it last minute, so
I think it's all of us. I did write something down, but and it was just going to take a phone and just do it. But I mean, we covered what we needed to in just like a very haphazard fashion.
All right. Well, hopefully this was listenable.
I'm sure all 10 of our listeners will enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a transfer window.
My girlfriend's a couple of workmates listen to it, so that's about it.
Hey, that's good. Get them to get more people.
The only thing I probably should have done was Hartlepool United wrap up for my workmate who listens.
Oh, yeah, you should. All sorts of fun lower league teams.
another.
Yeah, all right. We can have a lower league segment on the next one.
Segments everywhere.
Yeah. I'll do conference. Bing's got championship. Where's Hartlepool? League 2 or something?
No. Hartlepool got relegated to conference. Conference.
Oh wow!
Hey, no way!
Yeah,
I can go see him play.
Market.
It's just going to become a conference podcast after Arsenal and finish 6th. Tottenham, Harry Kane gets injured, and Blackburn.
We'd actually be able to claim it's the #1 conference podcast on YouTube. So,
oh yeah, how many? There's tons of other Premier League podcasts. How many of those podcasts talk about conference?
Yeah, it's true. Fuck it, we found our niche.
We're going to talk about Alfreton. We're gonna get. Oh no, Accrington Stanley is already in League One. They're in League One. You're playing with Sunderland.
Havant and Waterlooville.
I don't know. Is Telford still around? I used to play with Telford in Championship Manager.
I know Barnet are in conference because I'm going with some mates in a couple of weeks.
All right,
Barnet.
Let me see National Conference League. What are the teams in it? How many teams I recognize?
Okay, I've got it up. So at the moment, you've got Halifax Town in top on 15 points, and we're just outside the playoff places on 12 points. So it's a much better season than last season, where they almost got relegated. So yeah, Aldstop down, Chesterfield, Maidstone, Maidenhead, Barnet, yeah. Wrexham. Oh, there's a name.
Wrexham. All right, wait. Crap.
But Leighton Orient, they're in the playoff places at the moment, albeit quite early in the season, obviously. But Dagenham and Redbridge are all bottom.
They're called a National League now?
Yeah, they fucked up too. It's been a decline in East London football.
Man. Chesterfield. Hey, I know Chesterfield. Yeah, Leighton Orient.
The Mighty O's.
Sutton United.
What the hell's Field? Whatever. Gateshead. I don't know what Gateshead is. Maidenhead United. Oh man.
Oh god.
Wait, what happened to York City?
Yeah, I think they got relegated.
Yeah.
So what? They're in Conference North.
Yeah, they're in Conference North with Telford.
Wickham as well. They got relegated because I remember watching Soccer AM and you had there's Torquay United. I think they might be League 1, League 2, but the lady
League South.
Oh my god! Yeah, the lady that used to host that. She was a Torquay fan, and yeah.
FC United of Manchester. FC United of Manchester is in League North now. Actually, League North now.
Is it?
I think for anyone that watches FIFA YouTube channels, there's a place called #United as well that are in the 7th division of football. So that's an actual thing, or 9th division. That's just made up from a FIFA guy just decided he's going to make up his own club, and lo and behold, I think they got promoted in their first season or something like that. So God knows what's going to happen there, but it's been an interesting few years of football for all these big teams as well. I'd love to see Wimbledon go back up a bit, but
AFC,
not Milton Keynes, but actual women.
Oh, they're in the same league now. They're both in League One.
Well, I think they've been. I think this is the second year in a row it's been like that as well. So
I
will hold a little special place for Milton Keynes just because it's where Ali came from. But
they're evil, but
better than Ozil. So.
Wait.
Not on your life, son.
Wait, what happened to MK Dons?
So they're not League One? I don't actually know, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, they got relegated.
Anyway, boys, I might have to. I might have to shoot off. I'm absolutely starving.
I've just got them as well, so I've just parked. So now you're good. Cheers for doing the host, Bing.
Sure. I'm sorry. I thought that weird sound. Anyways, I don't even know what that is.
Impromptu host. You did well, mate.
Yeah, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed it. It was good.
All right. Bye, I guess.
All right, boys. Yeah.
Guys, have a good one, all right?
Yeah, you too, lads. Enjoy work and the above. See you in a bit, guys.
See ya.
Bye.